What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about jobs in Phoenix, jobs in Arizona, things to consider. We've made this video before, but we're going to give a more in-depth, modern, or more up-to-date analysis based on questions and experiences people have shared with us in our Facebook group, as well as here on this video that I made starting a business in Arizona and getting a job. So that's always a great opportunity when a city's booming and coming up. You can start a business in that area because it's up and coming. They're going to need, what are they going to need? They're going to need dry cleaners, they're going to need nail salons, they're going to need hair salons, they're going to need restaurants, food and beverage, right? And you can also get into construction, landscaping, pool cleaning, all these different ideas, whatever you've always wanted to do. Dog grooming, I've seen all of this in demand. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities because I see these cars and these vans going around, and the key is doing it the old world model, but doing it in a modern way. So if you're doing it the old world model, that's already phased out. So you're going to need the internet as a stepping stone. You're going to need to be on Google Maps. You're going to need to be on Yelp, so having that kind of awareness, right? So this comes in from Brian Stouch. He says, I'm a locksmith in Chicago looking to move to Arizona to start a business because Chicago is awful. So as an exodus is occurring somewhere else, people are leaving, people are moving here, and so that means that there's opportunities. Well, hey, I've had to call the locksmith for my house. I have a back door and a front door, and I got security doors installed. So what was the first thing I wanted to do? Make sure all my keys matched. I want my security doors. I'm just using this as an example, but you can see how there is a demand for pretty much all of this. I wanted my security door and my front door to match, right? I wanted my back security door and my back door all to match, right? So all four locks needed to be lined up. Well, it turns out I could do that, but I just hired a professional. They did it, and they also installed the locks and moved one lock. They moved the locking mechanism from the top to from the bottom to the top, because toddlers, if they can turn the door, they can get out. So you have to move the doorknob to the top spot and put the lock below. That way the toddlers can't go out. That's for your pool if you have a pool. But either way, that was just an example of why I needed a locksmith. So yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised at how many of these services are needed. Even water softeners, plumbers, irrigation. People call this handymans, So I'm just giving you an example there. If you really want to make some big money, there is big money in that. And electricians, I mean, we're talking about people who are so in demand, especially when it's an up-and-coming city and you're in demand like that. You can charge, the going rate, because what's going to end up happening is people are looking for you, and you're going to be so busy. You're going to say, look, I can't really get out there. And they're going to say, well, so when there's supply and demand like that, you can drive up the price. So I'm going to talk about this stuff in the video. That was just kind of a segue. But if you're also looking to keep up with us, and if you're thinking about moving to Arizona, you already live here, look at this. Post your last pic, your epic photo of Arizona. Lots of pictures were posted here from Sasha DeKasha, Angie Williams. So come join the group, hang out, show off your pictures. I mean, lots of cool sites. Look at all this. I mean, lots of pictures. This is our group, Living in Arizona. Link below in the comments. So dude, feel free to join us. Please hang out in there. All right, so here's something you might want to know if you're really looking for a job and you're concerned. Who are the top employers in the state? Well, you have State of Arizona, Walmart, Banner Health. It seems like there's a Banner Healthcare everywhere. It seems like there's a Walmart everywhere. City of Phoenix, Wells Fargo is the largest bank. I would have thought it would have been Chase, honestly, but I guess Wells Fargo is kind of popular. Bank of America. I think, but Wells Fargo, if I remember correctly, way back in the day used to be called First Interstate, and then they got bought out by Wells Fargo. And then Chase used to be Bank One, now it's Chase. Bank of America has always been Bank of America. Maricopa County, Arizona State University, Apollo Group, JP Morgan Chase. Okay, so apparently that's the third financial institution on the list. Intel Corp, US Airways, which used to be America West, Mesa Public Schools, US Postal Service, Dignity Health, American Express sitting at number 16, Freeport Copper and Gold, Scottsdale Healthcare. So anyways, you get the point. You can look this list up. PhoenixRelocationGuide.com. Probably a good site if you're moving here, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next thing to consider. So a lot of people who are moving here don't realize this, but after you've gone outside of the main sector, the next thing you're going to see is call center jobs. Phoenix is known for a call center. I remember my very first job out of high school, I liked it because it was a sales job. Because sales, you have sky's the limit. Whereas if I was working at Domino's Pizza, we're talking about a kid just out of high school. Some of you might be kids just out of high school. Some of you might have kids who are just out of high school, and you're like, where are you going to work now, son? You're not going to college, huh? So what are you going to do? Well, they got to do something, right? So Domino's Pizza, I worked there, but they only paid me, $8.50 an hour, and this was back in 2000, but that wasn't good. That wasn't going to satisfy me, right? So I wanted a sales job. Reason I like sales was because they paid me that $5.15 an hour, but commission on top of that. We're talking minimum wage back in 2000, inflation's happened, right? So now it's probably like $8 an hour or something, who knows? But sales is sky's the limit. There's no real cap on what you can do. So I worked at the car wash. I was selling wax upgrades, buffs, and if I sold $250 worth of detail work, I would get a percentage of that. Then I started working for the auto glass guys, and I just like that because every time you got a windshield replacement, you got a small portion of that. So if you sold 7, you could be in 2000, $300 a day was a pretty good price, $1,000 a week for an 18-year-old kid. I was pretty happy, right? So that was why sales was really good. But the problem with that is outdoors. In the summer, it's 110 degrees heat. So when you're working in sales, if you're working on a call center, you're indoors. So when that opportunity came up to work at a call center, I did that. But then I was like, no, I didn't like sitting there calling. I didn't want to be the person who was calling, so I didn't do call center work. But it is in demand here in Phoenix. You could even get a job at GoDaddy doing that. I don't know if GoDaddy's main headquarters isn't still in Phoenix for the call center, but there's many different opportunities, as you can see here on Indeed.com. Call center representative, Bryan University, Direct Fairways. So take a look at that. It's indoors. It's an indoor job, and it's sales. If you don't mind calling people, cold calling, you could make some money with that. Another thing that I really would encourage people to be privy to or be a part of is the future, like going into careers that are going to be relevant moving forward. So as we know, coal mining is going away and solar technology is coming in, so this is why you got solar technicians. So understanding solar energy, it's been an up and coming field. It's kind of slow to get started, but it's still developing. Wind energy technicians. So energy is always going to be in need. As long as people need to turn on their AC, how are we getting energy, right? Healthcare aides, that's really big. Personal care aides, nurse practitioners, statisticians, physical therapists. So you're going to want to do some research, not just on this video, but jobs of the future. I can even make a specific video really tailored to that if you would like. But jobs of the future are where you need to be looking. Getting careers that are going to be relevant 10 to 15 years from now as AI and automated, artificial intelligence and automation takes over. You need to be in position to be well trained in these fields that are not going to go away. Instead of like even working at Taco Bell, that might go away to robots. I mean, there's going to be jobs that are going to be outsourced to robots. There's still going to be work available for people. It's just not going to be in the same capacity that it was before, okay? So I can make a video focusing on that because I know that stuff pretty good. Another thing you can do is be self-employed, right? You could have a YouTube channel. It doesn't just have to be about Arizona. You can have a YouTube channel that talks about DIY, that talks about politics, that talks about whatever you're into. I mean, how to make sunglasses cooler than usual. I mean, then there's Amazon stores. Like you can open up an eBay store. I was even following Gary Vaynerchuk. He said he was telling young kids how to think outside the box, and one of the things he was talking about was the coffee mug flip, where someone goes to the dollar store, buys a bunch of dollar mugs, for $1, and then sells them on eBay for $5. I mean, this is how creative you can get with it, right? I mean, that's stuff you can do from your home office, and I do a lot of that. I also do other things, but also I'm big on 5 ways of income. You should always be trying to have multiple streams of income. One might be your primary pipeline of income, but then you should have alternative streams of income. Even if you have a main job, how are you making money on the side? And the reason you want to have those is not just to, build up a savings account to build, invest and build, acquire wealth. But also, in the event that you lose one of your primary sources of income, you still have money coming in. You're not just left high and dry, right? Panic mode. So 5 streams of income. 5 streams of income can look like this: your primary job, a YouTube channel, an Amazon store, an eBay affiliate link, a blog, a side business where you build doors for people, you install cabinets, you do flooring, you're a handyman on the weekends, you do plumbing, you do irrigation on Saturdays, you do dog grooming, you walk dogs, you do something for cats. I don't know, you babysit cats, you're a pet shelter, you're a bird sanctuary. I don't know, whatever you're doing on the side, but you should be having, as they would say, side hustles, okay? Things you do on the side, and there should be striving to get 5 streams of income. Just saying. So that's what I would recommend. Now, if we just go to best jobs in Arizona requiring some or no experience, some of you guys are going to want to know this. Customer service representatives, office clerks in general, first line supervisors. So here in Arizona, the southern states did a real big push for the border patrol. They wanted to double the size of the force. Another area where there's a high demand is law enforcement, is corrections. Now, but sometimes they'll have to like build up Department of Homeland Security, so they'll do an onboarding very quickly where they kind of throw out some of the limitations that they have before, like background checks or high school diplomas even. Like, I think the Border Patrol was saying, hey, even if you don't have a high school diploma, let us interview you. You know, whereas like the military is so strict nowadays because they're already manned. They're like, you can't have tattoos, you can't have smoked any weed, you know, all this crazy stuff. They're getting more strict. But whenever they do an onboarding like they did with the Border Patrol, opportunities like that in law enforcement pop up. You know, even if you don't have a degree, you go in there, you complete the course, you could be on your way making $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year working for the law enforcement agents. Okay, but this one right here, electricians, is really big in demand. Security guards, maintenance and repair workers, bookkeeping, you know, tax consultants. One of the things that I was having a really hard time was finding someone who could do my taxes. I'm not the type to understand all that, but someone, if you understand that, I mean, just get a listing on Google Maps and people will call you. Especially in these new areas like Santan Valley. If you're moving to an established community, you know, you might be having to compete with people, but when you're out in these new areas, pretty much everything's up for the hustling, right? Whoever's going to get it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel and like the video, and we will see you guys next time.